We have Brent Csutoras, and I've heard Brent speak a few times, and he's going to be sharing his takeaways on your brand missing out on Reddit. So actually this is very pertinent because later today we have an AMA panel, so I hope you can give a few tips on that. But Brent is the Chief Social Media Strategist for Search Engine Journal. He owner of Social Media Strategies and at Kyrie Media, and then speaks regularly at conferences, SMX, PubCon, SES, the search conferences. Big fan of UFC. I'll take him on later today. There's a fee for that show. And fishing and watching movies. So with that, please welcome Brent to the stage.
Yeah, my name is Brent Csutoras, and today I'm going to talk about big brands and Reddit. Quick bit, I've been marketing on Reddit for close to 9 years, so I have a little bit of background on Reddit and its changes and how the systems work and whatnot, so I'm hoping I can give some of that to you. Real quick, everybody here's probably heard of Reddit. I would be willing to bet in some way, shape, or form. But if I can just do this one time, if I can give a show of hands, is there people that are actively focusing marketing campaigns on Reddit today? Is there, so maybe like 2 people, 2 brands, right? The funny thing is that if I said, hey, anybody here doing Facebook or Twitter, like everybody's hand would go up, right? So why is it essentially, oh, hold on, do my quick 3 takeaways real quick. I'm gonna talk about Reddit being valuable. I really believe it is, and I'll explain why. When you are gonna go to Reddit, I do think you need to cater to Reddit, and I'll talk about what that means and why that's important. And you need to stay engaged in your campaigns. You can't walk away from anything if you start on Reddit. And I'll explain again why you want to make sure you accomplish that. But why is it that so many brands are completely missing out on Reddit? And I really think it comes down to, I've heard a lot of different stories from brands on why they're not on Reddit, but I think it really comes down to a couple main points. One, brands are scared of Reddit. I mean, when they hear stories about Reddit, they hear a bunch of trolls, a bunch of people who are angry, a bunch of, the underbelly of the web. They hate marketers. Well, the truth of the matter is they don't hate marketers. They hate being marketed to. As an SEO, as a marketer, I get emails every so often that say, your site could benefit from SEO. And I think to myself, did you even look at what I do? Did you look at my site? Do you have any knowledge? Nobody wants to be marketed to generically, right? They want to, you don't mind being marketed to, and Reddit's the same way. And I put up here a link, and I think it's a really good thing for brands to read, the State of Public Discourse. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I read it. It was really in-depth. It talks about people's opinions today on being marketed to, marketing and brands, and how their role in marketing has become. But another thing that brands are scared of is they want to engage in social media, but they really want to do it on their own terms, right? People are nervous about Reddit because they can't delete somebody's comment. They can't control what people can participate. And there's a possibility the conversation could go negative, and they don't know what to do about that. And I think that's a good thing, but it makes people nervous. And I think most importantly, the problem with brands and Reddit is that people don't understand Reddit. No matter how many times I've talked about it, no matter how many times people have tried it, they really just don't understand it. They can understand Facebook. I got this campaign. There's Facebook, more visibility. Great, right? I got this campaign. Here's Twitter, more visibility. But when it comes to Reddit, they're like, I don't know. And so I think a lot of people just end up walking away from it because they don't know. Regardless of what your reasons are, if you're ignoring Reddit, you're missing out on what could be one of the best marketing opportunities for your company. I'm going to explain a little bit why. Reddit, since it launched, I'll talk loud from time to time, so bear with me. Reddit, from its inception in 2005, has consistently grown in leaps and bounds. We're not talking about minor growth. We're talking, 2011, they had 13 million uniques. Not crazy, but 2 years later, they jumped to 85 million uniques. And this is in part because while Reddit was growing, Dig, Delicious, Yahoo Buzz, and a lot of these other sites were tumbling and falling and failing. Today, Reddit gets about 150 plus million uniques a month and over 6.5 billion page views per month. And that's a monster site. That's a monster community. Especially when you look at the fact that over 60% of that traffic is from the US. Over 80% of that traffic speaks English and is from English-speaking countries. Over 90% have made purchases in the last 6 months online, with a median age of 35, household income of 70,000, and over 80% college educated. I'm sorry, about 80% college educated. That, for a brand in the US or North America, is an amazing audience. It's really a huge opportunity that people are missing out on. But not everybody's missing out on it. There are some brands, and there's probably, I would be willing to bet at least one of your competitors, every person in here, at least one of your competitors is actively participating in Reddit and winning and succeeding. To give you a sense of that, these are some of the brands that are currently on Reddit. And I don't mean that somebody submitted an article about them and it hit the front page and they got a lot of page views. I mean, these are brands that are effectively marketing every really targeted campaigns and having success. And they're not just doing it and saying, okay, well, we tried this and we walked away. They're coming back and saying things like, we're seeing better responses, statistics, and engagement than anywhere else from the Reddit community. And we're going to continue to improve our efforts there. You've got companies, iCrossing did a great campaign with Baker's Mark. I don't know if they're here today or not, but they came back and said it was everything we could have asked for and more. So these are brands that are, again, doing 1 or 2 campaigns and then, walking away. They're finding great success, and they're having great success on Reddit. So what I want to do is I want to talk through 3 examples. 3 really good, in my opinion, examples of brands that have marketed on Reddit. And I'm going to talk about what they did right, the minor details, the things that you can walk away from and incorporate into your own plans that can help you have success. The first campaign I want to talk about is I call the focus group. Basically, Transamerica, which you may or may not have heard of, is a rather large financial organization. They decided they wanted to do a campaign on Reddit. Ideally, what they wanted to do is they wanted to use Reddit as a mini focus group. They were looking to find out information. So they went to Reddit and they designed a campaign just for Reddit. They targeted them and said, Transamerica wants to help Reddit make sense out of the money, essentially. They want to help them solve their problem and their misunderstanding of the financial industry and different elements of that. So they came to them and they said, look, we've seen that there has been conversations recently about 401ks or different financial discussions that there are heavy debates about and misunderstandings. And so they're already starting to associate their brand with Reddit, right? They're saying, we know that there's these conversations. We're here. We've seen this go on. It's not our first day on Reddit. And then they say, we have Redditors here at Transamerica, and they link to them, showing that, hey, we actually have Redditors here at our company. And we want to create content for you, Reddit, to help you answer the questions that you have about finance. So they created the content directly for Reddit. They associated their brand with it. They used a self-post format. A lot of people probably don't know what that means. What that means is they didn't link out. When you submit, you can do a submit that has a link and you click on it and it takes you off the site. A self-post is like a text post. So you're staying on the community. So a lot of these are text posts. They're staying in the community. And they chose our finance community, which is a great community for this conversation, right? Throughout the entire campaign, they even made Transamerica Lauren, right? So Transamerica Lauren, Lauren's obviously probably a Redditor, is staying engaged throughout the whole campaign. So as people are saying, I have a question about this thing about 401ks and stuff like that, she's coming in and saying, great, we'll work on getting you an answer. And she's being lighthearted, so people are saying, oh yeah, this is a great attempt at manipulating Reddit. And she laughs it off and very casually says, or we could just be trying to help, So she's very engaged, very lighthearted, humorous, good choice of a person to get in there and run this campaign. When they do decide to make the content, they don't just make the content. They make the content for Reddit. They're using Reddit's colors, their fonts. They put their logo on there. They took the time and energy. They even used the mascot, the alien mascot's antenna. It's a great way of saying, look, we're not just creating this content, we're truly making this content for you and we're thinking about you as a community, right? When they delivered that content, they did it very personally. They went into every single person's requests and they mentioned my name and said, here's that 401k article that you were asking about and that you had questions about. And here's a list of all the content we created. So they went in very personally and connected with each one of those people again. So again, what was their focus? Obviously, they wanted some brand association and to get customers. I think everybody wants that. as a starting point. But what they were really interested as well is they said, even if all we do is educate people in the financial industry, that's a win for us. And we want to create a mini focus group because this is a really good target audience for us to determine what should we be talking about, right? So they were able to get great brand awareness. They were able to get content ideas, and again, not content ideas just to create some content for Reddit, but now they know what are people in that target demographic asking for? What are they confused about? What can they do for their next 20 marketing campaigns? What can they do for their print ad, campaigns that they're doing, right? They got direct customer engagement, and they got a lot of articles and links. People started writing about this. It was a great example of using Reddit and marketing with Reddit effectively. They got a lot of articles about the content they created. People were linking out to it, so they got a lot of exposure. The second example I want to talk about is personally one of my favorites. Nissan and Amazon get together, and Nissan decides, hey, you know what? It'd be a great idea if we sell our first version note of the year, we can sell it on Amazon, right? Amazon has a car for sale, it's a cool little idea, gets a little buzz, gets a little attention. So they come together and they decide, so Nissan's team, which I'm very impressed with, by the way, Nissan's team comes together and say, you know what, we need to get a little conversation going about this first. So they decide to go to Reddit and run a campaign where they post an ad and they say, if you could buy one thing from Amazon, what would it be? If you could get anything, what would it be? Right? So again, they're targeting and designing the campaign just for Reddit. They're talking to Reddit. They're speaking to them. They use the self-post format, saying we're here for the conversation. We're not trying to get you to leave and go to our site or anything like that. But they also did a cool thing. They piqued user interest. One thing people might not know about Reddit, but is established throughout Reddit, is they love a challenge, and they're up for it. You want to find something, you want to identify somebody, you want to, Photoshop somebody out of a baby picture, and you want to, make it, they do anything that's requested, and they love that challenge, right? So when they challenged them to go find a product, they came back with all kinds of cool things. 4,500 ladybugs that you can get on Amazon. A book about how to avoid being hit by large ships. There was a lot of funny things that they had come back with. So then what Nissan did is they started going and buying these items for people. So now they're getting this association between Nissan and Amazon, and people are like, hey, I want 4,500 ladybugs, and they're like, okay, well, what's your personal information? We'll send it to you. So they started buying them for people, right? They came back the next day, they said, thank you all, for the great ideas. This is what we bought. So they kind of identify some of the odder stuff in there, and that's what you can see in here, because you can change your ads. They went and changed their ad. They said, this is what we bought, it was great. Again, engaged, there was 2 individuals, they were friendly, comical, they laughed, they made jokes, they really, participated in a really great way. Weeks later, people started getting their products. So now they're going on to their own Reddit communities and their own subreddits. They're saying, look, Nissan did this campaign, they bought me this cool thing, and they sent it to me, and so now they're getting even more exposure. But the thing is that even weeks and months later, Nissan's still getting those pings whenever their name gets used on Reddit. So now they're going in and saying, oh, you're welcome. Weeks later, they're still staying engaged. So during all of this, Nissan decides, hey, you know what? When we do sell this car, we should ship it in an Amazon box. How cool would that be? Everybody knows an Amazon box, right? But we would have this monster Amazon box that we would ship in. So they end up saying, that's what we're going to do. So they throw this car on the back of a truck, and they get a film crew, and they start recording the whole thing. Because they want to create, some material, some collateral for marketing. Hey, look at this cool idea. We have this whole video. Well, on the way, somebody from Reddit spots it. And they throw it on Pix, which is one of the biggest subreddits there is. It says, hey, what's the largest item that you can order from Amazon? Because I think my neighbor just got it, right? And so that picture hits the front page of Reddit and goes completely viral. I mean, I talked to tons of people, and they've all seen this picture before. It was everywhere, right? So what does Nissan do? Once they get done filming everything, they come back to Reddit. They do another ad saying, thank you so much for getting our image out there and making it so successful. You now get the first view of the video we created. So they come back. Now, any other company, you make a video and you go to Reddit and you just say, hey, Redditors, here's our first view you get our first view of our commercial. We're like, yeah, there's the door. Have fun, right? But the fact that they had come in earlier and they had set up a rapport, they had built a brand awareness with this group. Now, they didn't. What they focused on was, well, what are they going to do with the empty box? So now all the Redditors start saying, well, what would you do with an empty box? And they start going with all these ideas. So Nissan again edits it and says, hey, we got a lot of great ideas, learned a lot from you guys on what to do with it. Here's a post of our favorite ideas that you came up with about what you would do with the Amazon box, right? Within hours of topping the front page, the story of our Nissan and Amazon partnership showed up across 150 articles in 30 different countries. They got massive exposure for this campaign. Everybody knew about this campaign. Not only did they get a ton of brand awareness, direct opportunity to engage on multiple different levels, but they got tons of articles, tons of links, and they won multiple awards. They won a Shorty Award for the best social media campaign. I'm talking about it. You now know about it. Other people will talk about it. It's going to go on for a long time as being a huge success for them and their branding. So one more example I want to talk about. AMA. We're having one here later, right? Ask me anything, right? My comment earlier I was going to say was, you might not know about this, or you might have heard about it. These started on Reddit. There's a fun story that I'll tell you about how they actually started and what, but I won't do it now because I don't have the time. But you can ask me later or something, I'll tell you. But anyway, essentially what they are is they're a predetermined written interview. People say, I'm going to be here tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'm going to answer all your questions, I'll be here for an hour, and everybody writes all the questions. Then they vote up which questions they want, they come in and they answer them based on priority or whatever they want. Great opportunity for connecting with an audience. So Intel does this 2 years ago. CPU architect and a designer, just an average guy at Intel, comes and does an AMA. And I'm going to do two. I'm going to talk about two of them because a year later, the CEO, obviously hearing about how successful this AMA was for them, decides he's going to do one too. So, a couple important things. Both of these people did a great job of setting their direction, setting the expectations, right? The original CPU guy says, this is what I've worked on, this is what I know, and this is the type of questions I'm going to answer. The CEO says, hey, I'm really interested in talking specifically to engineering students. So both of them set it up, because if you don't set it up, people are just going to ask all kinds of crazy questions. What's your favorite color? Where did you live when you were 12? They're going to start asking all kinds of strange questions. So they're still going to do that anyway, but at least you have a target direction that you're kind of going in as far as where you want the questions to be. The CEO linked out some good resources. Again, sets the expectation. People are now reading something that's kind of positioning them in a way that says, this is what I'm going to ask questions about. This is what they're interested in talking about. Right? And you can update self-posts. A lot of people don't know this on Reddit, but you can go in and update it. So if somebody asks the same question 12 times, give an answer and update it. It's obviously important. So they were able to update and add links and other things. A lot of people come back after the whole thing's over and they say, oh, by the way, follow us on Facebook. Great way to get a little extra boost out of your exposure, right? Another thing they did is they both stayed fully engaged in the campaign. Again, they stayed engaged, they stayed genuine, they stayed fun, humorous. They answered questions about personal things. They answered, in fact, the first guy actually went and responded to every single question that was on there. He was very zealous. I mean, I think he must have spent like 6 hours there just answering every single question that was asked. It was like over 3,000. So it was pretty impressive. What did they get? Well, the thing that you have to remember is this is an interview. It's not just a discussion. So whatever you talk about becomes news. So when the CEO of Intel is now giving answers, that's newsworthy. Every single publication in that space started writing about it. What was he talking about? What was he saying? And I didn't showcase as much because it wasn't as visually impressive, but even the first CPU architect was linked and mentioned on all kinds of tech forums and tech sites because he was giving information that nobody had had before, and not in that context, not in that order. So these become newsworthy. They got great customer engagement, over 8,000 back and forth conversations happening in there, a great opportunity to connect with people. They got a lot of articles and links, and a lot of engagement. So again, Reddit's valuable. 150 million uniques, 80% English speaking, over 60% from the US. If there's not a brand in this room who doesn't think that's a good demographic, wow. Come talk to me later, I want to know what you're doing. Again, cater to Reddit. If you're not going to cater to Reddit, they're not going to accept you. And it's the same as anywhere, and pretty much, you need to market specifically to your target audience, otherwise you're going to miss connecting with your target audience. And you have to stay engaged. The worst thing I see happen is people start these campaigns, and then a couple of days later they kind of forget about them, or they think that they're gone, and then all of a sudden it's the same thing as abandoning a social site or anything. All of a sudden people start saying stuff and you're not answering. And then they're like, well, why aren't you answering? What's going on? And then they turn very negative very quick. So you definitely have to stay engaged through the whole thing. A couple of real quick things I'll run through. I don't even know what my time is, but hopefully I'm okay. Identify the right people to run your campaign. A lot of times people put people in campaigns that can't answer those questions. And then they end up causing more problems than good. Or they don't, they're too stiff. They don't know how to engage properly. They can't be conversational. So you need to pick the right person. Review similar AMAs or campaigns. You can go and look at other people and what they've done. And it tells you what works and what doesn't work. Why wouldn't you go and look at what other people are doing? Be genuine, transparent, and engaged. Embrace tough questions. When you get tough questions, the first thing people want to do is, skip that one. The next one is easy. Everybody focuses on the questions you skip. So you have to answer the tough questions. Identify the right subreddit and target audience. You have to find the right audience within Reddit. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels. And create the campaign for Reddit. Again, focus on creating just for Reddit. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Hopefully there's some takeaways in there, and thank you very much.